Welcome to another Deviant.fun flash review. And today we've got a very special book, at least for me it is, because I was waiting eagerly for it to come out, and it came out late April this year. And it's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips' newest title. It is the second book of the Reckless series. This one is called Friend of the Devil. If you don't know the series, well, the stories are not in continuity, so every book is a different case, let's call it. So it's okay if you just pick up the second volume without having read the first. Of course, it's better that you already read the first, because by then you'll know Ethan Reckless a little bit better. And so you'll have more context. But it wouldn't hurt if you picked up this book without any previous knowledge and start reading it. It would still be a great reading experience, and it wouldn't feel incomplete or whatever. So for those ones who didn't read the first Reckless book, well, Reckless is actually the last name of this guy here, Ethan Reckless. So I've called him a mercenary in the past, but it's an exaggerated word for him. So what he does is that he has some background with I think it was CIA or something like that. So he has training, but he is kind in a wreck after he suffered an accident and etc. His mind feels shuffled, he doesn't feel himself, so he's kind of going with the waves without clear steering on his life. He doesn't have a grip on his daily life, and so what he does is he has a phone number that people in trouble can dial, and he will help them with whatever it is. He doesn't actually look actively for work, but his assistant will receive those phone calls, and his phone number is actually passed by mouth to mouth by someone who had a difficult case and happens to meet another person that needs some kind of PI. Because the police can't handle the matter at hand or something like that. So he eventually gets a phone call and gets into trouble whilst trying to make heads and tails of the case that he's presented with. So this is a darker story than the first one. It's not by a chance that it's called Friend of the Devil. That's because it really deals with America at the time where cults, and especially Satanist cults, were a big thing. It comes from Ed Brubaker's own memories from those troubled times. We're talking about Charles Manson, for example, and how's it called? The one that would shoot couples in their cars, Unabomber, something like that. Yeah, so, but we don't really get it immediately by the book, and the book starts a bit like using the same narrative technique that was employed in the first volume. That is, it starts almost by the end, so you see Ethan Reckless in a tight situation. He's being chased by a car. He seems to be hurt. We see him escaping from the car into a beach and being followed by these guys that we can see that are skinheads. So we know that he will eventually deal with these guys, but we don't know why the hell is he stuck in that situation and how we'll get rid of it. So then the book starts with the story as it should from the actual beginning. And this character here, this lady, Lin Tran, will be the main centerpiece of the story. So the case will come from the fact that Ethan meets her and gets to know her, gets to be involved romantically with her, and from that romance he finds out that he sensed that there was something gloomy in this apparently very normal, very peaceful person, but he didn't know what it is until he finds out by accident that she had a stepsister that disappeared when she was a teenager, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she was a teenager. I think she was the youngest one of them too. Her sister wanted to be a famous movie star, and so she just left the small town and went to New York or Las Vegas. I'm not really sure now. Doesn't really matter. But she went to the big city and try herself to be famous. That's what she wanted to be in the cinema scene. But she is gone for ages, for years, and once Ethan knows of this, of course he has to take the case in his own hands and try to help his lover, finding out what happened to her sister. But it doesn't take him too long to understand that the story is meant to end badly, and each step he takes, each clue he follows, and I'll tell you that it does take some time to get to actual useful information. He tries everything, and that's one of the things to admire in this book. It feels so genuine. It's not just that things fall out from the sky. He's actively purchasing clues, and that might involve being in a library looking at newspapers from a range of 5 to 10 years and trying to figure out what's common in those newspapers and what could give him the next clue. So things don't just fall out, the solutions just don't appear. You see Ethan applying techniques that make perfect sense to get closer to the facts, right? So he'll talk with lots of people. Like I said, each step he takes, he smells trouble and more trouble until he finds himself in a position where he becomes a target too. And then that's when he understands that he's deep into something bigger than he even thought of. And I'm not sure if I should tell you anything more about that. So people will get killed, or at least they'll try to kill someone. There will be a cult involved in this, like I said. But the mastery in this, of course, apart from Sean Phillips' art, is undoubtedly the way that Ed Brubaker tells the story, how it develops, the pace that it has, the constant suspense and new revelations that keep pouring. I can't praise the writing enough. Ed Brubaker has reached such a maturity in his writing. It's incredible. It's a really, really, really well written book. It's not surprising. It's Ed Brubaker, right? Pulp, for example, didn't give me that feel of what a great book, but that was an exception. I liked it. I actually enjoyed it, but I felt it to be too short. I didn't feel the same with this book, not at all. It's super fulfilling. The story is so rich, and the end is fulfilling. The plot is super interesting. It deals with it is inspired in actual things that happened in the past, and that have to do with exploring the evil that lies within each of us, and the primary evil that some people believe that we all possess, that animal part of ours that leads us to do nasty things if we know that there will be no consequences around that. So it does explore those characteristics of the human beings. So it's very dark. It's a very dark book. So yeah, super huge recommendation. Get your hands on this, because if you like crime stories, it doesn't get much better than this. I really hope the third book maintains the level. Let's see. It's tough, but Ed, I know you can do it. Sean, I know you will do it, because yeah, even so, I think it's easier for Sean to maintain the level than for Ed Brubaker, which has to find another super interesting plot and then choosing the right words for it. I think that by now Sean, when he takes a script by Ed Brubaker, he instantly knows what to draw. So I think the big weight lays on Ed Brubaker's shoulders. Yeah, but these guys are awesome and the book is excellent. So if you want to buy it, you know where to go, Deviant.fun.biz. Otherwise, if you don't want to buy it with us or don't want to buy it at all, but you like these videos that we put out constantly, these reviews, these lift-throughs, and etc., then please consider subscribing the channel and liking the videos. It will help us, and we would be very appreciated for that. You can also follow us on Instagram, YouTube. That's probably where you're seeing this. Did I say Facebook? I think I did. Yeah, so pay us a visit and be on alert, because new videos are constantly being put out and you don't want to miss them. That's a way to peek into some books that probably you won't have the chance to do, especially now with the pandemic. Yeah, so we're glad we can to help. Hopefully we're helping. I hope so. Okay, until the next video, Deviant Fun out in 3, 2, 1. Bye bye. Stay safe, stay well, and have excellent reads.